Christine Romans is here sighing.
Oh, my gosh. What is that sigh
for us on a Friday morning.
Sigh. 5.4% was the inflation gauge on this PCE index. And that's hotter than we had expected. And it's the first time we've seen it tick up in quite a few months here. So overall inflation, 5.4%, still far away from the Fed's desired 2%. You see that little uptick? I just don't like that. I liked the curve. I liked the idea that we were peaking. And by the way, futures don't like it either. The stock market and futures are down. Month to month, if we go back to that first screen, you can see inflation rose 0.6% month to month. We'd expected 0.4%. That compares with only 0.2% last month. So as you know, the trend is what's important. This is just 1 month. But the trend here, this sort of broke the trend that we had seen peaking inflation.
Just answer my question. Is it the trend overall?
It's not a trend overall. It's just one kind of icky.
I meant going down overall.
Yeah, the trend has been peaking, but still we're far away from that 2%, and that's what the Fed wants to see.
Speaking of the Fed, I thought it was interesting that Jamie Dimon, obviously head of J.P. Morgan Chase, said yesterday on CNBC, I have all the respect for Powell, the Fed chair, but then he said, we lost a little bit of control of inflation. Does that worry you to hear someone like Jamie Dimon?
Well, Jamie Dimon his business is to be worried about bad things that are going to happen, right? We remember he talked about a hurricane was coming way earlier last year, and he's been worried about a recession for some time. I think that has been the risk and the concern broadly, even inside the Fed, that inflation, once it gets out of control, it is really hard to get it back in the bottle. That's why the Fed has raised interest rates so many times, so quickly, and by so much. They're trying to get this under control.
Can you just remind us why 2% is the goal? Why did they settle on 2%?
2% is the goal internally. A lot of central banks use as their goal. That's where inflation is healthy. A little bit of price increases are healthy in economy. Deflation is not. So a little bit of inflation, and you want to have a strong job market. We still have a very strong job market. That spins off more inflation, by the way, and higher wages. So look, the Fed's got a really hard job, and this is just another data point that shows that.
It's your job to worry, too. Not just Jamie Dimon.
She worries and
worry
sighs
about
for
everything.
us.
I'm rainbows and unicorns. It is Friday.
Thank you, Romans, very much.
Christine Inflation Romans.
So I think things are a little out of whack, and I don't blame people for being down. You know, when you had 2 years of the pandemic, kids out of school, the mental health problems in the country are seriously increased, especially among young people. Some things are, for example, even feeling down about employment, they've got better jobs. They're making more money. Inflation is still higher than it should be, and everything from gasoline prices to a war going on in Ukraine. I mean, so I can't think of a time when there's been greater uncertainty, notwithstanding the fact we created an 800,000 manufacturing job. We're better off than virtually any other major nation in the world economically. But it's understandable why people are just down.